This is a Sprint Right Option podcast episode, but I'm going to get my shit off first, and I'm not doing an intro. So, Andrew, give me a few minutes real quick. Just give me a few minutes. You see you backstage. I got you, buddy. But there's no way that I'm not going to get my shit off because I'm ready. This fucking team pisses me off beyond belief this year. The frustration is palpable. I cannot believe that this team allowed 12 points and they only scored 6. I cannot believe that Matthew Stafford tried his best to throw 4 interceptions and the 49ers had no interest in getting the ball. I cannot believe that this team continues to have one thing go right for them and the other thing be wrong. The defense played phenomenal tonight and the offense, trash. Kyle Shanahan, trash. Deebo Samuel, trash. I'm not letting this shit slide now. Deebo, I've had your back. You cry to tweet, you cry on Twitter, you go on your podcast, you do all this shit, you want the ball, a house call right in your belly, and what do you do with it? Purdy, what are you looking at on some of these throws down the field, dude? Ricky Pearsall's wide open going into the end zone, and you throw it back to Spoon, and then that pass to Juwan Jennings is to who? It looked like you threw it to the Rams player. One thing goes right, the other thing goes wrong. This fucking team is frustrating this year beyond belief because whenever you get one thing right, the other thing is fucked off. I'm sorry. Get the kids out of the room. Y'all wanted it. I've been holding it. I haven't been popping my shit. I've been sitting here trying to be level-headed. I cannot be level-headed about this game. I can't. It's impossible. 12 points. 12. Not one touchdown allowed. Not one. And you score 6 points. What? Drop passes. Like this game kind of felt like it was going that way when the ball is thrown into someone's chest and they drop it. When the ball is thrown into someone's hand and they drop it. The little interception that the Rams got was so far more difficult than any of the chances the 49ers had to steal the ball from Matthew Stafford, and he was begging them to take it. And you can't make a play. Offense. The least amount of yards you've had since the NFC Championship game in which you had no quarterback. How can you even look at this game and walk away with a positive? Other than the fact that Dre Greenlaw's a baller, other than Talanoa Hufanga playing very well, other than this secondary for large parts of this game being clamped. Deebo Samuel, you want the ball? I'm not struggling. You're fucking struggling. Ricky Pearsall needs to play. Here's how this is going to go the rest of the year. Deebo Samuel, I don't care what you got going on. Ricky Pearsall takes your reps now. Get him the ball. Not enough plays drawn up for George Kittle, who's clearly been the 49ers' best offensive player. But you want to keep force-feeding Deebo Samuel. I understand. Squeaky wheel. I get all that. But not at the expense of the entire offense. 12 fucking points allowed. 12. If I would have told you before the game that it would have been 12 points allowed by the Rams, you would have said we coasted to a victory. 12 points. Let me get Andrew in here, man, so I can get somebody else. But I had to pop my shit, man. I don't want to interrupt you, Andrew. Go ahead and at least bring some level-headedness to this fucking situation.
Jason, I have bad news. I don't have any level-headedness. That might have Jason. We and I have been 49er fans our entire lives. We've watched some very, very, very bad football teams in the past, mid 2000s, mid 2010s. We know these. That might have been my least favorite experience of watching 49ers football because a lot of what we've talked about this week and the preview yesterday was the momentum picked up from the win on Sunday. I understand the Bears are the Bears and they're bad, but you saw some things happen that hasn't happened all seasons for this team. And then it's just all out the window today. I mean, I mentioned on NinersNation.com earlier this week, like this offense needs to run through George Kittle and Juwan Jennings. And Kyle Shanahan literally died by Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel had 5 touches tonight for 19 yards. That is, my math is not great. This is on the fly, but I think that's like 3.9 yards per touch. That's barely ahead of the sticks 3.8 yards per touch for Deebo Samuel. And he has the same amount of targets as George Kittle. He has 2 fewer targets than Jawan Jet. Like, I just, the frustrating thing is, there's a million frustrating things, Jason. We're going to talk about it, is when it's not just Deebo Samuel's getting these touches, you're taking the touches away from the guys who have been the best players on offense all season this year. And this Shanahan talked about how Sunday felt like a playoff game, and every game from here on out was a playoff game. And Shanahan went into this game with just the most horrendous game plan. I just do not understand force feeding Deebo Samuel. And you finally get that opportunity. You finally get a play that works. Everything happens. Deebo finally gets open. Ball hits him in the hand, maybe a walk-in touchdown, and it's dropped. And that's not even to mention the social media stuff, because that happening and then this result to happen. And this isn't, it's not like this happened in October and the Niners had games to play with and try to let Deebo Samuel get hot. This was a loser, you're dead. And they said, let's see if we can get Deebo going in this game. And it's just, and Deebo's going to get a lot of blame here, but don't let Deebo's bad game remind you that Brock Purdy was horrendous today. I know there was plenty of drops. I know the drops were a real issue. I know Jawan Jennings had a couple. But Purdy was missing throws all game, just all game. Stafford wasn't good. Purdy was bad too. And that final interception, I mean, even that last drive, the 2-play drive where he gets sacked on the last play of the game. I don't know who he was targeting on that first down play, but
Ricky Pearsall, he's wide open. If you're watching on Prime Vision, the all 22 version, he's wide open. It's a huge gain. He gets out of bounds, and you put yourself in a better position to be able to make a play into the end zone. But again, like all game, off. Keep going, Andrew.
Yeah, and then just to make matters worse, Jason, is he is open. You have a chance to make that last play shorter, and you don't. And then I know this isn't a Purdy thing. The offensive line just did not block on that last play. You don't even get a throw off. You don't even get anything off, and it just. There's so many places we could really dive into this game, Jason, and we might need like 4 hours to really, if we really want to dive into this game, because they're just let's just start at the beginning. 2 dropped interceptions and the Niners only kicking field goals all game. The offense was horrendous, but Deandre Lenore had a chance for that interception early on. He had a very good 2 plays there to start the game. And then the Hufanga one, Jason, you got shit on Twitter for your Hufanga take. You're 1,000% correct, because I understand. Yes, I get it. He's playing with a club. He has one hand. But part of the contract of playing with one hand is you should be able to do everything you do with 2 hands. If you are out there with a club, you better do everything. And it's not like how Hufanga had to go up like this to catch that ball. That ball is in the breadbasket. You don't need 2 hands for that. You need a hand and a club just to hold that to your chest. And he couldn't. And it's just so many mistakes all game. And the Rams just kept letting the Niners get away with it all game, because the defense balled out. The defense absolutely balled out. The Rams let the Niners get away with these mistakes all game, and it just kind of like all season, Jason, the mistakes proved to be too much. And you cannot overcome them. And I mean, I was hoping we wouldn't have to talk about this sequence of plays, and I was hoping the Niners would blow it out, but seeing they scored 6 points. Do you know when this game really ended, in my opinion? And maybe this is just the instant reaction overreaction, is George Kittle gets a 33-yard gain on the second drive of the game. Niners are move the ball. Obviously, it's the second drive of the game, so you don't know what's going to happen. But Shanahan goes run to Guerendo, which Deebo messes up by running into Guerendo at the line of scrimmage. A run to Guerendo, and then I'm fine with the 3rd and 7 run play to Deebo if you're going for it on 4th down. But it's a 3rd consecutive run play for nothing, and then you just trot Jake Moody out there. And I just don't understand how you get a 33-yard play from the best player on this offense, and you just go ultra conservative. And I was praying to God we wouldn't have to talk about this sequence, because the Niners would score more than 6 fucking points. But they didn't. And now we have to talk about a sequence of plays in the second drive of the game because Shanahan just decided, yeah, I'm good with 3 points here. This team just scored 42 points 5 days ago. I'm going to just run 3 plays here and get the 3 points. So there's my yelling portion of the podcast. It's not going to be the only, because that is such a miserable way to die. That is just such a painful way to end your season. 12 points, Jason. 12 points beat the San Francisco 49ers and eliminated them from the play. Not eliminated them, but eliminated them because, see, it doesn't matter. It's dumb. It's less than 1%. It's not 0%, but it's less than 1%. So it's pretty much they're dead. And it's almost as if Shanahan pulled the plug himself. So.
Frank Vasquez, thank you for the donation. Purdy isn't good. We need a new quarterback. Neil says, just threw my helmet at my $1,200 TV. I hope you didn't. I hope that's a joke. Let's see. Gojira Von Jinx, member for 22 months. Shout out to you, man. Last 5 games, 14 catches, 101 yards. Tyshawn Samuel. Yeah. Debo, you gotta sit in the box. Is Brock worth $55-60 million? Not when you play like that, because it wasn't the rain. It stopped raining in the second quarter. The second half. You know what I want to say? What makes this season all the more frustrating is there's only been 2 games this season that I've seen that the 49ers have just been beaten. Like, gotten their ass whipped. Green Bay and Buffalo. Those are the only 2 games, right? And even the Green Bay game, we can say, this guy's injured, this guy's injured, this guy's injured. Okay, fine. That means, because now they have 7 losses, right? Correct? 8 losses now? 8 losses?
Yes, 6 and 8. 6 and 8.
Yeah. So that's 2 losses where the 49ers were completely outclassed, there was nothing you can do. You can't beat those 2 teams. You couldn't. Every other loss is because you kicked the game away one way or another. Special teams, defense, offense, you pick what you thought was the reason. You pick it. It wasn't like the Rams were better than us today. They looked like shit. Stafford was dying to give us this game. They couldn't do anything on offense. The Rams look like shit. The Cardinals have the same. Well, they did have the same record before this game started. We just lost the kicker in that game, and then we kicked the game away. It's just, what's annoying is I would rather have 8 losses and have 6 of them be you got your ass beat, like it wasn't your day. But that's frustrating because that's not the case. It's the 49ers finding new and creative ways to lose games to teams that are not better than them.
Yep.
And this was just the newest one. It was almost like the 49ers said, hey, we've lost some really gut-wrenching games. We've really, really lost some gut-wrenching games, and we've, found ways to kick away games. Let's find a new way. How do we find a new one? And it's insane to me that out of the 8 losses, 2 of them were you were completely outclassed and you couldn't do anything about it for obvious reasons. 6 of them are you just kicking games away and just absolutely just losing to teams that you are better than and games that you absolutely should have won, i.e. double-digit leads, i.e. what we saw today with offense. That's what makes this season far more frustrating than them just getting their ass whipped. Like, if the score was 38-6, I would have just said, hey, the Rams, they cooked us. This game was literally just 2 teams that were just trying to find a way to not blow it, and one did. I don't know what else to say, man.
You want me to make you even more angry? You mentioned, what if I told you the Rams scored 6 points before this game? What if I told you Cooper Kupp would have 0 catches for 0 receptions?
I mean,
or 0 catches for 0 yards.
The only thing that I would say is, if you're a Rams fan and you played Cooper Kupp in your fantasy football playoffs, your season's over. So at least I can say that.
The secondary played their hearts out, and it just sucks that the Nacua play had to happen, the 51-yard play against Ward, because the secondary, apology to Dre Greenlaw, straight up, because I've always been temperament on his impact on this team. I've always thought he's not his impact. I've always recognized how important he is to this team. I've always thought his performance as a linebacker has been slightly overrated by 49er fans because of a play that happened in 2019. I was wrong. I was wrong when he was in that game. I mean, if you really want to talk about it, like the game against Seattle, when people were doing Seattle did this when Bosa was on the field, and Seattle did that when he was like, you could do that with this game where when Dre Greenlaw, for whatever reason, leaves the game, doesn't have his helmet. So I'm assuming just something was off. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, but a lot of the talk was, Niners defense looked really, really good. They, on Sunday against a really bad offense, can they replicate it? And they hold they hold the Rams to 12 points, and it's not enough.
Field goals. It's
not enough. The only drive not to end with a kick this game, obviously outside of kneeling the clock out, was Purdy's interception.
Yeah.
It's just sad. It's just sad, man.
Yeah. Big Des, thank you for the donation. You can't justify paying Purdy $60 million. This is a discussion that's going to happen for the rest of this time, because I'm considering this the offseason now. Next week, whatever, you're in Miami, cool. Hooray. What's frustrating is for large parts of this game, the entire secondary was incredible. Yeah. Like, there was no room to throw the football. Again, I implore you guys, if you were watching the game, please watch it on the Prime Vision. You could see that they were giving nothing, right? But here's the problem is the biggest part of the game, the biggest play of the game on third down, Cooper Kupp goes in motion, Diamandola and Warner follow him, and then there's no one covering Kobe Parkinson, and there was just a bang on throw, so coverage bust. And then the one big play, like the biggest play of the game that they had, was the long throw on to Nakua, and Charvarius Ward was in coverage. But for those two plays, the secondary was great. Cooper Kupp has 0 catches. The secondary was great. If you watch the game, and I don't know if you want to watch the all 22, there was no separation from those guys. There was a lot of good defense in this game. Again, 4 field goals. How can you be mad at a defense that allowed 4 field goals? The blame goes squarely on the offense. Is
that the second game this year they've lost on only field goals, or was that a game last year? I remember there was a game that they lost on field goals only, but I can't remember if that was this year or last year. But it's just depressing because we used to brag on this podcast that field goals can't beat this 49ers team, and now here we are, field goals just beat them, man. And 12 points. I don't think I'm ever going to get over that. 12 points. 12 points to beat the San Francisco 49ers.
Roberto Davis says bad coaching and watch players equals bad team. Yeah, well, we're gonna see a big retooling. Again, I want to reiterate. Here's what I want to see going forward. I want to see Ricky Pearsall playing every single down that you thought you were going to give to Deebo Samuel, and it really felt like Kyle Shanahan was doing that after after all of the struggles and everything as well too. Is where he said, you know what, at this point, here's where I am. Right, season's cooked. Right, here's where I am. If I want to see mistakes, if I want to see things that is part of growing pains, I want to see that from a rookie. When veterans make those mistakes, that I will not allow. That I cannot stand for. If Ricky Pearsall drops a pass, it's all right, youngster, keep going. We need you to develop because you're part of this. Deebo Samuel's not a rookie. Juwan Jennings isn't a rookie. None of these guys, if you're going to miss blocks, if you're going to drop passes, if you're going to miss your assignment, let a rookie do it. You know why? So he can develop. The season's cooked. I don't want to hear anything about playoffs, anything like that. And you know what? I blame myself. a little bit because you start to feel like, okay, this game's right in front of you. And the way that we talked about this game before it started was this is exactly the type of game that all of a sudden they're going to count the 49ers out. And all of a sudden you can, see them going out there and winning. Nope. Last week was a complete mirage. Everything that you did last week, gone. Complete mirage. The middle of the field's open. You get a big play from George Kittle. Spam it. It's literally what I've been saying. Why are you not looking at a matchup and taking advantage of it every single time I don't care what any other player thinks. 12 points allowed. 6 points scored. Blame the offense. Blame the guys that should be doing more. There is no reason for a San Francisco Kyle Shanahan-led offense to only score 6 points in an entire football game. No reason. And if guys are going to make mistakes, then let them be rookies making mistakes while they develop. Because I don't need to see veterans playing like rookies.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what this game looked like today. Don't blame the rain. Don't blame, any look, overthrows, underthrows, all of that. Drop passes, all of that. Now we can't even say it was turnovers in this game because the 49ers didn't turn the ball over. Oh, well, one time they did. I'm sorry, Purdy. I'm sorry. But the only thing that I will say for the defense that I would have loved to have seen is that you've got to bring in one of those interceptions. And that could completely change the outcome of everything. And we talked about it on the pod, Andrew. Stafford's going to throw you one. We didn't know Stafford was going to throw him 3 and 4. And that looked just like that game against Jordan Love, in which he was just like, please intercept this. Please intercept this. And the 49ers were like, I'm not going to. So quit asking. Miss picks. You can switch this game all the way around. Even if you say, hey, was the offense going to do anything with those interceptions? Maybe. But you're in a shorter field. And you have to take advantage because when you let a team hang around, this is the 2024 49ers, you let a team hang around, and then they make enough plays and you don't. And now your season's over. 6 of the losses this season have been in one way or another this exact script, just with different actors, different plot points. All of this is familiar. And this is your 2024 49ers. And I wish that I could be on here being more mad about a blowout than this type of game.
We keep going back to the drop interceptions, Jason. And I saw KP tweet about a third one, and you've mentioned third. I can't remember the third one. The two I know of off the top of my head was, and just how easily this game flips, 12-6. But Rams' first drive of the game, Lenore jumps a route. Like Lenore perfectly jumps a route. The ball goes through his hands. Where that near interception was at, Stafford threw it when the Rams had the ball at the 24. So if Lenore comes down with that ball, Niners have the ball in plus territory right away. Let's just say probably a field goal, 3 points. The very next drive, Hufanga drops one in his stomach. Ball would have been at midfield. Niners just need 15 yards to get into field goal range. There's another 3 points right there. There's your tie, Jason. So right. Where I don't remember the third, so if I'm forgetting one, but those are the two that I remember off the top of my head.
It's the shot down the field that Ward got both hands on that the ball went up.
That's what it was.
And it should have, and I mean, obviously there was no one there to make the play, but the ball went up. And when the ball goes up in the air and you have that much time, you have to. So it's that one that you're thinking of.
Okay. Can I twist the knife really quick? Just to be a dick.
Go for it.
The Rams had 11 drives today. 4 resulted in field goals. 2 of those field goal scoring drives were aided by 5-yard illegal formation penalties on punts. And it's week 15, 16, whatever week it is. How the hell is there illegal formation penalties? Not like once is maybe fine because shit happens. Like I'm not as down on the Debo play where he ran into Garendo. I know people are mad about that because it's Debo, but that shit happens. It happens. It's unfortunate. It sucks that it happened for Debo. An illegal formation on special teams, shit happens. But shit happens goes out the window when it happens twice. And the second one, they get the 5 yards in the very first place. Puka Nakua's big touchdown, but the first, I don't know, man, like game of inches, Jason. Cardi's first field goal was 48 yards out. Maybe there's not an illegal formation. Instead of a 48-yard field goal, it's a 53-yard field goal. And maybe the trajectory has to be a little bit lower to get that extra yardage. And, oh, by the way, did we mention Jordan Elliott got a little tip of the finger on that ball? And maybe if they're 5 yards back, it's just got to be a little lower. So instead of the tip of the finger, it hits the fat of the finger. It's just... Look, it's just little fundamental things, man. And it's week 18, and this is allegedly a Super Bowl team. And what are we doing? What are we doing?
You want me to twist the knife further?
Keep twisting it, man. Keep twisting it.
Ooh, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. Nick Sorensen outcoached Kyle Shanahan today.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't say it like that. Oh, my God.
Nick Sorensen out coached Kyle Shanahan today.
Yep.
His defense gave up 12 points. He dialed up the blitzes at the right time. His defense was energized with Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga coming back. Even Jair Brown played better today.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Sorensen coached a better game today than Kyle Shanahan. What in the fucking opposite land is this? And this is exactly what I'm talking about. One thing goes right, you get Nick Sorensen's best defensive performance of the season, and his defense plays their asses off, and the other side shits the bed. This is the 2024 49ers.
Wait, whoa. Sorry. Eric Branch just tweeted, Kyle Shanahan said linebacker Deandre Campbell told him he didn't want to play when he was asked to replace Dre Greenlaw in the third quarter and went to the locker room.
Fuck him.
So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that...
No. So look.
Wow.
So look. Deandre Campbell, you're upset because the 49ers brought back their best linebacker. And when you had to go into the game, this is emblematic of the selfishness that is on this team. And they constructed this roster, so you got to go ahead and blame the people that brought him in as well, too. Fuck him. Don't let him play. I don't care. I don't care. D Winners, Demetrius Flanagan fouls, Jalen Graham, everybody. Fuck them. If you're not a part of this, and if you're gonna be selfish like that, I don't need to see you on the field. And maybe you feel upset because last game was the one game that you weren't mediocre or terrible. But that is just literally one of the things that I would. And if Kyle's saying this right off the bat,
he's not happy.
Press conference. Yeah, cut him. Fuck him. Get out. Go work.
There's a million and a half things to talk about in this game, and the fact that like right away it was Deandre Campbell quit on the team. Wow.
Go look. Pack your bags. Go learn Indeed, and go enjoy your job as a Walmart greeter. The fact that the 49ers even gave you an opportunity when the consensus is that you're washed, and then you pull some shit like that, get his ass out of here. If you want to send a message, want to send a message to everybody in this locker room that you're not going to tolerate any of this shit, get his ass out of here. Don't even let him finish packing out of the locker. Tell his ass not to come back to the facility and send his ass home. That is insane to me.
49ers linebacker Dre Greenlaw had to leave with Achilles and knee soreness per Shanahan.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully it's just the body recovering, first real action since the Super Bowl. So that Campbell news, man, that Campbell news is honestly, I think the most shocking part about it is I'm not shocked. That's just the most on par thing for this team. That a player physically quit on them. Wow. Okay. That might take a second for me to recover. What's another thing we could be miserable about, Jason? 0 sacks. 0 sacks. We mentioned on yesterday, Wednesday, that you need to sack Matt Stafford. I pulled the number, NinersNation.com. yesterday that the Rams are like 1-5 this season. Let me get the exact number, but they're 1-5 this season in games where Stafford's been sacked more than 3 times, I believe. But on the flip side of it, the Rams were 6-1 when he was sacked 2 or fewer times. The one win, however, when he was sacked more than 3 times was against the Niners in week 3. So that's kind of funny. But the Niners just know that's the worst part about it, man, is like Stafford was horrible tonight and the Niners didn't force him to be bad. Could you imagine if maybe the pass rush forced him to make some mistakes, maybe forced the fumble, maybe forced the sack? This is Jason, can I ask in the true fashion of instant reaction, can I ask an instant reaction question? Is this what rock bottom feels like? Because this kind of feels like, I know there's worse teams in the NFL. I understand that, but I'm mentioning rock bottom when you consider that like it's a Super Bowl caliber team at minimum. They're a playoff team. They're not going to make the playoffs. Players are quitting. They scored 6 points in a game they allowed 12 to end their season. Like I know there's worse teams in the NFL, but like, is this what rock bottom feels like for the 49ers?
Yeah. I mean, look again, like in 2020 when we talked about it and they had a horrible season, like you never once saw this team like give up effort. You never once saw this team like they just were undermanned. Like the defense was still up at the top of the league. I understand, Robert Saleh was the defensive coordinator. That's a little bit different, but there's just something funky about this entire season in which it's execution, it's effort, it's selfishness, it's complaining. Like if you took the decal off of the helmet and wiped away the last few years that the 49ers had, you would say you're watching the Cowboys right now.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it like that, but I'm just talking about this specific season. I know that they've had more success, but with all of this, all of the nonsense, the tweeting, this that just came out with Campbell, the way that this team has just found new ways to lose games. If you didn't know and if I blindly told you all of these things about this team and I showed you all of these losses and I told you about all the extracurricular things, you'd be like, damn, the Cowboys or the Giants or the Jets suck, like a dysfunctional organization. That's just how this season has been. So, I mean, again, people are going to conflate and twist my words about what I'm saying. I'm saying that without the rose-colored glasses, without being a fan of the team, you just objectively, if I just dropped this resume of a season in front of you, you'd say that's a dysfunctional organization. That is an organization in disarray. Not saying that they are, but how could you look at this season as anything other than that in a 1 year sample size in a vacuum? That's what I mean.
Yeah, and Freezy Series says 2014 and 2015 was wrong. Yes, absolutely. Like those years were worse. I'm just talking about for Shanahan's Niners. I think when you talk about everything going into this season, and then also too, where is this other comment? Project Pat. So the folks saying the vibes were off at training camp were right.
Yeah.
Listen, I think that is a question that I think now that the season's actually over, we could really dive into it. But yeah, I wanted to avoid that thought just because like as shitty as it was in the preseason,
I'm sorry,
and camp and all that stuff. You would hope the game started and they fix it, but it just never fixed. So is there another one here you want me to get here?
No. It was just that picture that you posted up. I thought it was very funny. I just wanted to choose to laugh at something.
Need a laugh. I had something, but I lost it in that comment. That's yeah. You mentioned the differences between like 2020 and this season, though. Like with 2020, the injuries were more pointed too, right? Like it was you lost Garoppolo for most of the season with the high ankle sprain. You lose Bosa early on. The injuries. I struggle with the 2020 comparison because, like Jason, today, like thinking about it. It was really only McCaffrey and Ayuk, and Trent, obviously. Which, by the way, there's something to laugh about. Doppelganger Trent Williams in the first quarter. Thanks, Amazon Prime, for that photo.
Doppelganger.
Not even Doppel. Yeah, that was me being polite.
That shit was Trent Williams from Temu.
Yeah. But I think this is the healthiest the 49ers have been most season, like tonight, right? With Hufanga and Greenlaw and Warner and Bosa all back.
You had more than enough to win this game.
And that's my point, is you had more than enough. You were just as healthy as you've been all season. And you lay this egg. So like to me, this is way worse than 2020 because you can directly point to the injured starting quarterback. You could directly point to the injured pass rusher. This year, there's about 450 things you can point to, and I would say, yeah, that's probably a reason they weren't very good. And that's just, Jason, that's just what it comes down to. We made the joke with the Cowboys last season. Niners haven't been a good team yet. The 49ers aren't a good football team, and that's just what it is at this moment. That's just what it is, and this is going to be. I hate this sentence because we've said it so many times on this podcast. This is going to be such an interesting offseason. Because there's a lot of decisions to be made. I obviously the obvious ones are your decision with Purdy and what your decision with Debo is, but there's other superstar players that are on this team that I wouldn't be surprised aren't on the Niners next year. I mean, anything's possible, but there's some guys that you think are going to be on this team next year that aren't going to be on this team. And the turnover is going to how they turn this roster over. And I'm not saying it's going to be like a massive turnover where it's everybody's gone, but there's going to be turnover on this roster. And how the Niners do it is going to be so fascinating, because it's not going to be easy, considering you're going to have to flip this roster over and somehow extend Brock Purdy. Because I know people are really down on that, but that's Jason, I'm at a point where I think that's going to happen. I don't know if he can play himself out of it. Maybe he's costing himself X amount of dollars, maybe not. I don't know. But just it's gonna be a really weird offseason, and I don't know.
All right. To add on, our good friend and boss, Kyle Posey, Shanahan just said that Deandre Campbell told the coaches that he didn't want to play today. The Niners tried to put Campbell in during the third quarter, but he went to the locker room instead. Shanahan said that's the first time a player has ever told him he doesn't want to play.
See, because what sucks about the Campbell story is Shanahan deservedly was going to get a lot of shit for this game. I'm sure it's already happening a lot on Twitter, and it's deserved.
He's getting it from us.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's undeserved, because he was horrible this game. But now with the Deandre Campbell thing, Niners Twitter, I think, would be more than fair to start asking that miserable little question of
has he lost the locker room?
Shanahan lost the locker room?
Yep.
And I don't know if I want to go that far yet with it, but I think it's absolutely a fair question to ask right now.
Well, I don't think I'm ready to go there yet, but I think I'm ready to blame the player, because the player has already exhibited selfish tendencies before the 49ers brought him in during his time in Green Bay.
Oh my God.
And on the way out, And on the way out, he said, I was misused. Instead of saying, whatever, I haven't played well, he threw his other people under the bus. He's that type of guy. What? Now what?
Matt Barrow, suffice to say, Charvarius Ward didn't think Campbell handled the situation well by dressing for the game and refusing to play. Quote, he's probably gonna get cut, he said.
Fuck him. Send his ass to Siberia. Enjoy Walmart. Get ready to get your resume up on Indeed.com. No one's going to sign you. You've already exhibited all these tendencies in Green Bay to do this when this one team was giving you a chance off of the best game of your season. To do this puts the nail in your coffin. No one's going to sign you. You better hope the XFL is working and they're looking for you. You better hope the USFL is looking for players. You better hope that they're looking for high school linebacker coaches. You're fucking done in this league. Fuck him. Send his ass to Siberia. I really don't care.
I'm gonna try and get a cheap laugh out of Jason Aponte here. Boy, too bad tonight wasn't the Simpsons game. Could you imagine Campbell refusing to go into the game with Homer Simpson as his coach? You're cut.
You're cut. Campbell, I like your hustle. So I was so hard to cut you. God damn, I picked the funniest week to stop drinking.
Oh man, oh, man.
But look, I think there was a little bit in this game that I was noticing, a lot less of Kyle Juszczyk in this game, a lot more of getting your playmakers on the field. You saw a lot of Pearsall, but your offense can't score that many points. Now, is it all Kyle? No. Is it all Brock? No. It's a mixture of all of them. It's a mixture. Now, who do we assign most of the blame to? Like, what's the percentage, right? The Debo-centric game plan, I think we were all on board with, because we figured he would answer the bell, but he didn't. The Brock Purdy deep ball situation is now a large talking point because he routinely misses them. I do think that the 49ers had a chance at a big play on the George Kittle throw, which was not a PI, where Curl just doesn't – apparently, as a defender now, you don't have to turn around and look at the ball. That's another huge play that would have put them in the red zone. So here's where we are again with the 2024 49ers. It's a little from column A, a little from column B, a little from column C, but no matter who you assign the blame to, the offense was bad. And I really don't care about who gets the majority of the blame. I don't really care about why or what's the main reason. All of those reasons are the reason that you scored 6 points. And that's what this team is. You can't just point to one thing. Is it execution? Is it effort? Is it penalties? Is it turnovers? Is it just, it's never one thing. And now it's never one thing with the offense. Do you have something else that you want to add in here too? Like did you see another tweet?
No, I'm just making a lot of faces because I start thinking of one random play that happened throughout the game, and I just get angry again. Like, it's just Keith Murphy. Thank you they won.
Might as well make the joke.
Murphy, Moody should have mushed Debo after. Yeah, like I just say something positive about the 49ers. Pat O'Donnell, pretty sick.
We got our franchise punter, and it didn't even take us. We didn't even have to draft him. I mean, Pat O'Donnell was phenomenal. He's great.
I don't know.
And you found him, sitting in his crib. Here's say something positive. Yeah. If anyone was worried about Dre Greenlaw and what he would look like and his explosion off of the Achilles, Dre Greenlaw is a madman confirmed. And that is probably the highlight of this game. I'm done here. Like I drank a black coffee, so I could I'm gonna be wired tonight because it's gonna be one for the books here on 49ers Twitter. So I've got to write this article that I put up on Niners Nation called Gold Jackets, where I give out basically a game ball offensively, defensively, and I do honorable mention. Well, the game ball goes to Dre Greenlaw because I still think that he led the team in tackles, even though he didn't play for the rest of the game. He had damn near 10 at the half. Offensively, who the hell do I give this shit to? George Kittle? George Kittle.
I mean, he had the longest play of the game by far up until Nakua's play. Sacked out real quick. I know. Can we re-sign Greenlaw? I think this game alone proved that the Niners need him.
I think now that you've seen what the other guy, that I swear to God, if Deandre Campbell's let back into that building,
he literally better be the Jets meme of the player.
Yeah, he better be Jamal Adams. Lock him out. Like I said, like I just tweeted, don't even let him pack. Tell him we'll send you your shit. Like, get out. Like Kyle Shanahan's better than me, especially if I'm trying to put my foot down and keep all of this together. I absolutely would have already told him, don't even take a shower. Just get out. Call your Uber and get out. I would have him forcibly removed from the building. And when Greenlaw went out, it was apparent. Yeah, 100%. And that's not to say that Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles is, somebody who can step in and replicate that at all. But I don't even know if we could say Campbell's like even that much better than him that it would have made a difference. But yeah, Greenlaw was so good in this game. His energy was infectious. Everyone literally rallied around him. Hufanga was flying around. I mean, like I said, Jair Brown had a really good game as well too. They're stopping the run. It's a wasted performance in a moment that was a must-win, do-or-die game. Dre Greenlaw laid it all on the line and had to leave because he was having calf and Achilles soreness because he was coming back. I don't know how you let him leave the building tonight without an extension offer.
Yeah, no, he better leave with a contract. Sacktown Izzy, when was the last time we ever scored 6 points? You ready for this one, Jason Aponte?
Go for
Kyle Shanahan's first game as the 49ers head coach. They lost to the Carolina Panthers 23-3. That's the last time they scored fewer than 6. The last time they were around 6 was that NFC Championship game against the Eagles where they didn't have a quarterback. That was 7 points. So last time they scored 6 was literally Kyle Shanahan's first game with the 49ers. So that just not good, man. Just nothing good about this season. And I am so excited. Like say something positive about the 49ers, Jason Aponte. I can let go of the playoff hopes. We are done. Like it's over. They're gone. I've let go. I've been hanging on to the in the hunt graphic and the 7% playoff chance that NFL.com's given them. I have let go of the playoffs. So say something positive. We don't really have to think about it that seriously. Say something positive. We have 4 games 3 games left this season. So we're going to have 3 pretty loose episodes of the Sprint Red Option podcast coming up, where it's just going to be loose football talk, nothing too serious, because these games aren't serious anymore. So you might get peak Sprint Red Option podcast content these next 3 weeks, because it's just, honestly, man, the last thing I want to talk about right now is the San Francisco 49ers, because it's just so sad. And it's so, they really had Super Bowl aspirations this season, and they're not even getting into the dance, man.
Yeah.
I feel so silly, because like again, I've mentioned it 6 times already, NinersNation.com, but I literally started a new series, Niners Nation, with what we learned. And if you go all the way back to my week 1, what we learned, I laid it out kind of what the idea of this was. And I talked about how, think about the 17 game schedule as 17 separate homework assignments for the test that is the postseason. If we use that analogy, the 49ers aren't even showing up for the test. Like the playoffs were a certainty back in September. It was whether or not this team could win the Super Bowl. The playoffs were a certainty, and now they're not even going to make the playoffs, man. Well, and it sucks, because there's not one thing to point out. It's everything. Everything's broken.
Well, I mean, now Sunday I can focus on my fantasy football playoffs. I can lock in on bets. I can lock in with draft stuff. I'm going head first into scouting players, and the Senior Bowl I already applied, so I'll be there. There's no reason that I won't be there, because we're gonna need it. So yeah, I mean, look, I already packed this season up when they lost to the Seattle Seahawks. That was the time that I felt that they were just broken, right? Then on the back of that, you have the Green Bay game. On the back of that, you have the Buffalo game. And then the Chicago game is the only game this season that the 49ers even looked anywhere near themselves from last season. And then they remind you exactly who they are. They remind you exactly who the 2024 49ers are. When you get one thing right, the defense, you get Nick Sorensen's best coaching performance. You get another thing, the worst that you can get, the offense. Again, Nick Sorensen outcoached Kyle Shanahan today. Words that I never would have thought would have ever come out of my mouth, let alone in 2024. So it is what it is. I mean, I don't want to say that I was checked out. I want to say, I kind of wrote myself back in, a little bit. I kind of felt like, and we said this during the week too, is the 49ers didn't have to play that good of a game against the Bears to beat the Bears. And they might not even have to play that good of a game to beat the Rams. It turns out the defense was even better than it was last week, because I would argue the offense that they were facing was better, but the offense goes absolutely in the shitter for various reasons. Brock Purdy has a bad game. Deebo Samuel just not important right now. Like, just stop throwing him the football. Kyle Shanahan, your game plan, I don't get it. So it's what's frustrating. One game you can pin on special teams, one game you could pin on defense, one game you could pin on offense. This is exactly what the 2024 49ers are. And it sucks that you get a game in which Nick Sorensen has taken so much heat, rightfully so at certain times. This defense has taken so much heat, rightfully so at certain times. You get Dre Greenlaw back, you get this inspired performance, and the offense just fucks it all up.
Yep.
And now your season's over. Yep. If you're watching that interception, which Purdy was great on that drive, up until that throw. If you were watching the Prime Vision, the All 22, before he throws the football, I see where he's looking, and I go, no, because there was no lane to throw that football. There was no lane. Mm-hmm. I don't know where was the throwing lane, and he lets it go. And the Rams did one thing on defense better than the 49ers. They made a play on the ball and got themselves a turnover. That's it. And
no throwing lane, and then he overshoots it by 7 yards, man.
Yeah. And then when Pearsall's open up on the top, you got to keep leading him up that way. You throw the ball back towards him, and Ahkello Witherspoon, 49ers legend, is there for a PBU like he's a really good corner. That's the story of the 49ers in 2024. They laid $1 short, a step behind, just missing. I fucking sound like my dad. My God, man. All these old men.
Josina Anderson just tweeted in response to Travarius Ward saying Campbell's probably going to get cut soon. Josina Anderson, no, there's no need to instant jump on job loss. He should be given time to share his mindset, to commune with his teammates after more time to reflect and demonstrate better judgment. Josina Anderson, the Niners, I don't want to go this far, but the Niners had a player get shot. The Niners have had 2 players lose children. Deandre Campbell dressed up for this game. I don't need to hear his side of this. I don't. He dressed for this game. He chose not to play. I don't need to hear it. If honestly, I'm a big European soccer fan, Jason, and I've been grumpy every morning the past couple of days because I've been expecting to wake up to the news that my Wolverhampton Wanderers have fired their manager, but they refused to, and I'm a little grumpy. I'm gonna be fucking pissed tomorrow morning if I wake up and Deandre Campbell's still 40.
Oh yeah.
If I wake up tomorrow, I don't need to hear his mindset. Nothing. Yeah. He needs because like what's worse than a loss? Dumb talking points after a loss. And this is a dumb talking. Just you signed a contract, dude. You play the game of football. I don't need to hear Christina Anderson. I appreciate it though.
What's worse than a loss? What's worse than a loss is quitting.
Yep.
Because you can play 4 full quarters, play your heart out, put it all on the line and lose.
Yep.
That's what's worse.
Yeah.
And I agree. And if Kyle Shanahan wants to let everybody know I'm still in charge, look at me, I'm still the captain, then fucking cut him right now. Tell him to pack his shit, order his Uber XL, get the fuck out the building, and don't ever show yourself around here again because it doesn't matter. You're not going to be playing in the NFL. Be lucky if the XFL calls you. You better start looking for jobs at Walmart and Target. I hate being harsh on players because NFL players are, gladiators. When you quit, all that shit goes out the window because not only did you disrespect your organization, you disrespected a fan base that needed a win, that pays money to go to watch you play. So when the disrespect's thrown at us, I treat disrespect with disrespect. When they go low, I go lower. Respect is earned. So when you tell us, this is what you did to us. When you do that, this is what you get back. So Deandre Campbell, if you're loud in that building, I got questions, Kyle Shanahan. And I don't have good questions. Because if you want to show everybody that this is still your ship, that you're still in charge, your diva receiver's crying on Twitter and has more podcast episodes than catches in the last 5 weeks, and this guy pulls this after that gladiator Dre Greenlaw goes out there an Achilles injury and he has the fucking balls to say, I'm going back to the locker room when we were the only team to give you a shot. Yeah, you better fucking make sure he doesn't come back. And you better send a message. I don't want to hear it.
Dre Greenlaw tore his Achilles 7 months ago, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, whatever it is. Had to exit the game with a sore Achilles and knee. And was more ready to go back into the game than Deandre Campbell was 100% healthy. It was killing
Dre Greenlaw that he couldn't get back in that game.
Yeah, and Deandre Campbell just said, nah, I'm good.
And you know what's funny? Remember when we talked about tanking because everybody wants a good draft pick? And I said that players don't tank because you have to put out good film. You have to show that you're going to stay. You know what you showed Deandre Campbell? That nobody's going to give you a fucking job anywhere. Good job. Nice job. Not only did you quit on the season, but you might as well have done the Vontae Davis thing and said, I retire.
Might as well do the Antonio Brown thing and crash out like Antonio Brown did.
At least that's entertaining.
Worth. You get your money's worth. He just silently walked to the back.
Poor Jack. I'm sorry.
Stars?
I didn't even make my fantasy playoffs. I'm depressed. I'm sorry, buddy.
3 stars?
What? How? Who?
Pat O'Donnell and Dre Greenlaw.
Pat O'Donnell, Dre Greenlaw, and George Kittle.
Yeah. 3 stars. That was the 3 stars. Like that was the saddest 3 stars we've done in 5 years of this podcast, man.
Shout out to my no. All right. No, we could fix it. We can do a real one. Shout out to my franchise punter though. Like you the GOAT. Nothing but respect for my franchise punter who didn't even have to be drafted in the 4th round and is much better than that fraud. Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, George Kittle. Thank you. Thank you for showing us that you are one of the few people on this team that still cares. Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys. Those are your 3. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll cheat. Give the whole secondary one too. I thought the second.
That's my honorable mention for Gold Jackets. That's my honorable mention because they were so good. They were so good in this game.
I mean, even to like Puka Nacua, I think he had 97 yards on like 7 receptions. He could do much more damage than that. Cooper Kupp, 0 yards for 0 receptions. Just a hell of a game by them. The only way it's better is there's a couple of interceptions, but I don't even want to get angry at the dropped interceptions too, because like the offense only scored 6 points. And like I mentioned earlier, like, field goals, but like you still have 9 other drives to go score points. And the Niners just, all they had to do was step into the end zone once and they win this game, man.
Can't even blame the rain.
They didn't even get to the red zone, did they?
The red zone? No.
Fuck.
Can't even blame the rain. Can't even blame red zone issues. Hey, look, here's a big brain approach. Ready? Can't fail in the red zone if you don't get there.
Yeah, man.
The 49ers red zone efficiency didn't drop at all because they didn't get there. There's a positive.
Defense didn't allow a red zone touchdown.
There's a positive. And what's crazy is the Rams were smoking in the red zone. Like, I think it was like an 80%, the last 3, 80%.
And the Niners were the opposite of they were pouring water on the smoke because they've 13 consecutive red zone touchdowns.
Right, the longest streak since 2020. Funny enough.
Yep.
But again, if I would have told you the 49ers defense was going to give up 12 points, you would have said the Niners rolled 28-12, like, and this was an easy one. And Stafford was trying to give you interceptions. You couldn't take it. And it's funny, as the interception chances were easy for the 49ers, the Rams made a play on the hardest of them, on a diving one over his head. Like, it's symbolic of the 49ers in 2024. Other teams do what you can't.
That was miserable. I expected to like I'm gonna be honest. Like I don't know if I expected the Niners to win that game. I think I had a 23-20, like a close game.
Well, it was a close game.
It was a close game. Yeah. I thought at worst we would just be like, hey, the Niners went out and they lost the game to the Rams and it sucks, but that's what happens when you put yourself in a situation where you need to win. No, dude, they went out in the most miserable way possible. And that just sucks. Like this is a game where thank God they don't play for another 10 days. Because I just want to wash my eyes out with soap after watching that.
You know what hurts too is we have over, I don't know if you see that number. We have over 1,200 people in here on X and on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I hope that the content that we're giving you right now is making you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. And yet, who wants to listen to anything about this team for the next 3 weeks? And I don't blame you. And I don't blame you. That's why when people talk about, oh, you guys thrive on negativity. You guys we fucking hate it when the team loses. You know why?
Wow,
you don't want to watch anything when the team is bad. You don't want to listen to anything when the team is losing. What on what earth do I want negativity? On what earth do I want this team to be bad? It boggles the mind. It never made sense. That's never been our MO. We've never been like that. No. We're frustrated right now because this season, again, out of the 8 losses, 6 of them have been directly because of the 49ers themselves, in one way or another, shooting themselves in the foot or just flat out not executing. Only 2 games this season can I objectively look at and say they had no shot in that game. Bills, Packers. Got your asses whipped. 6 games you kicked away. 6 games. You may not have won all of them, but you damn sure shouldn't have lost all of them. And that's it. It's frustrating because we love doing this with you guys. Yeah. We love when the team's doing well. We love hanging out with you guys after the game. We love, We love, laughing at other teams, but it's just not happening this year. And now the season's over. And now there's 3 more weeks left. And we've got to go through a whole week, obviously we get the weekend off, because that's a positive. But, Monday, we're right back in the saddle. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like, we're still going to do this. But I don't blame anybody that is completely checked out on this team. I don't blame you. I just hope you don't. I just hope
say something positive about the 49ers. They don't play on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday you get to watch football, red zone, whatever. And
can I get you real excited? Actually, no, I got you. Let me get the people. Let me pull it up. I didn't have it in front of me, so I apologize. The time slot that would have been 49ers Rams had it not been a Thursday night game. Indianapolis, Denver, Buffalo, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, New England, Arizona, Tampa Bay, Los Angeles. That is a hell of a slot of 125 West Coast, 425 East Coast, where the Niners would have played the Rams at. You don't have to think about the Niners. Go watch the Bills and Lions play football because those are 2 good football teams. Go watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Chargers play a football game. Those are 2 decent football teams. Go watch the Colts and Broncos play because that's a playoff game right there. It's say something positive. The Niners, I get to enjoy my 125 time slot on Sunday.
Shout out to our mod, Ariel Duran. I checked out about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I told you. After the Seahawks game, I pretty much called it, a season. I was kind of hoping that it would have been that, the season's over type thing from 2021, and then, made fun of myself for even, bringing that up. But it was true. That broke the team. Seeing Geno Smith do the night, that just hits different in the Bay.
Yep.
That just hits different.
Yep.
I will say this. I want you guys to, on Sunday, enjoy your time with your family.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a pond, sit, run through a field, enjoy your time, read a book. Just don't let this team stress you out, man. And enjoy your time. And obviously the holidays are coming up and all that. So yeah, and you could watch stress-free football unless you're in the fantasy playoffs, which some people wish they were, or you're a big gambling guy like me. But we're gonna keep it loose for the next 3 weeks. And I'll tell you this. This weekend is straight up about collecting all of the college film I can and diving headfirst into draft season. And for the fans, here's something positive. For the fans that didn't want the 49ers to win a few extra games, even if they didn't make the playoffs, I told you that they didn't have to try to tank. All they had to do was just go out there and play football. You're that much closer to a higher blue chip pick. And they might lose Sunday to Miami. They are definitely going to lose to Detroit. They might lose against Arizona because they are going to bench everybody and not risk further injury so you can go into next season. So if you are General Tank, leader of the tank, Colonel Tank, the tank's back on, baby. And you get to enjoy that at least because now we're just going to shoot up those rankings because I can guarantee you the teams that are ahead of them are going to win 1 or 2 games at least going forward. So there you go. If you were looking to tank, this one's for you. If you had no faith that this team was going to do anything in the playoffs or even make the playoffs, then this one's for you. So there's something positive for that section of the fan base. Not everybody, but if you are enamored with a high pick, if you want a blue chip guy, obviously first round picks are 50-50. You have a far better chance at hitting on someone the higher up you go. And I guess that's positive.
Yeah. Let me know if you find that college tape, but I think my first place is I'm gonna go through the free agency list tomorrow. See what the Niners can find through that because I'm just sad. I'm honest. Like I'm genuinely. I think I'm just sitting here and I think I'm realizing like it's over. It's over. And
what day is Raw on Netflix?
The first Monday of 2025. So that would be the 4th.
That's so far away.
It's so far away, but that's gonna be a good show. I'm looking forward to the switch over to January. First Monday Night Raw is on January 6th. Stay home and watch it. Don't go to any Capitals or anything like that.
As long as it doesn't storm.
Yeah, storm Monday Night Raw. Whatever it is. I don't know, man. I'm tired. The jokes aren't hitting today. I don't know. I'm sad. I'm sad.
Nah, it's all right. No, and you know what? This is kind of just as long as you're down to chill for a little bit, I am, because I don't got shit else to do. I'm
Yeah,
trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out who I'm gonna write good things about on this team, and I don't envy that task. Even though we get paid to do it.
I got mine to write. I do my game and review. I usually have
All right.
different sections of like different things there's one section tonight, and it's too many mistakes. Just too many
But
mistakes.
I'll say this. It's just this season, and I think there was a few weeks early on in the season that we didn't want to believe that this was the team, right? And we had our reasons for it. Hey, Christian McCaffrey's going to come back, or hey, they can't be this bad in the red zone going forward, or hey, they're missing this guy and they're going to get this guy, and there's always the trade deadline, and after the bye week, Kyle Shanahan and this team. And I think when this season really clicked for me was after the Tampa Bay win. Let me explain. Because Tampa Bay was a victory, but it was in the same fashion that they had lost other games. They had just done the one thing that they couldn't do in those games, which was actually win them. And that's when I knew the 2024 49ers were who they were. And there was going to be nothing that was going to change them. And you could say, because I remember us doing our show and, hey, don't be so negative. And it wasn't really being negative. It was just being objective about, hey, this team is going to try to fumble a game away at the end. This team is going to try to get out executed. This team is a team that is undisciplined at times. Mm-hmm. And in this game, I can't necessarily say undisciplined aside from the special teams blunders with lining up, which I can just attribute to the team not caring about special teams at all. And that's partly due to, whatever criticisms you have for Kyle Shanahan. Yeah. But I think that Tampa Bay game was really when it locked in for me, where I was just like, oh yeah, man, this is who they are. There's no turning the corner, right? Remember, all right, think about this. Last week, the 49ers win, and we weren't even saying like, oh my God, the 49ers are back. We were just saying, holy shit, they played 4 quarters for the first time in a season, in this season. They played 4 quarters. We didn't care who the opponent was. We were just asking this team to play 4 quarters. And I think at times we feel like, it can't be like this. It hasn't been like this for a while. We play in January. We're going to figure it out. I don't blame your optimism, and I don't tell fans how to fan. But shit, man, did it not click for me after that Tampa Bay game. And then after that Seattle loss, I just knew this team was just broken this season. And, kudos to them last week for saying all the right things about, hey, this is a playoff game, and they played their asses off. I won't say that they didn't have effort this week, aside from a few players. They just didn't execute, and I think I primarily throw that on the offense this week because they only allowed 12 points on defense. And Harold says, any thoughts on Belichick going to UNC? Well, he knows how to recruit 24-year-olds.
Hi-oh! He's going to be there for 1 year, and he'll be back in the NFL. I think I saw a thing that his buyout goes to $1 million after the first season.
All right. Can we do something kind of
funny? But really quick, before we dive in on Belichick, I just want your point too about the Buccaneers game.
Yeah.
It's not even just how the Buccaneers game happened, but we had to hear from a lot of different Twitter accounts that, the Niners, it hasn't been pretty, but the bye week, they're going to automatically turn it around on the bye week. And yeah, that Tampa Bay game was the first indicator because the 49ers used that bye week and looked exactly the same as they did before the bye week, and nothing changed. And they barely won because of it. So I think even looking at the schedule, I think there's a case to go back and say, I think there's a case to say that the Arizona loss was the start of the end. The Arizona loss was the start of the end. So, you want to talk about Belichick or whatever you want to talk about for a second? Then I gotta go. I gotta go.
Nah, you're good. You're good. You're good. So with Belichick, imagine you're a player who's in the transfer portal, or he's recruiting you. And Bill Belichick walks into your house and he's like, I'm not going to give you any opportunity to, you got to show me, it's all about, do your job. And it's just like, dude, I'm a fucking kid. And you used to rip Tom Brady in meetings in front of everybody. I'm not playing for you, dog, at all. There's nothing like Jim Harbaugh comes to your house in khakis and cleats somehow, and he's just putting mud all over your floor. And it's okay because he's so enthusiastic and he wants to stay over your house and he wants to hang out. But
you want to hear a scary thought?
What's that?
The kids that Belichick are going to be recruiting out of high school
We're gonna be younger than his girlfriend.
Weren't even alive. Well, Dad wasn't even alive when Brady and Belichick won his first ring.
Right.
Won their first ring together.
Right.
And I remember that so well. And then these kids are just like, yeah, who are you again? Like, you're the guy.
Yeah.
You were Mac Jones' head coach, right?
Like, right. Like, you think that he's gonna walk in the ring and be like, weren't you Parcells' defensive coordinator for the Giants? Like, they're gonna be like, who the shit is this?
You were the guy that ran Cam Newton out there for way too long in 2020, right? Like What do you know about football? The Patriots have sucked for 5 years, man. Like, what?
Imagine they'll be like this washed ass coach that never won a Super Bowl in my lifetime.
They replaced you with a former linebacker. You're supposed to be a good coach.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that'll do it. Andrew, take us out of here, man, and hit the thing and everything. Look, I just want to say this, guys, before we get out of here. Thank you guys for staying down with us this entire season, man. Listening to us with our ups and downs. We're not always right. We try to be as objective as possible. We're passionate like you. We're fans like you.
Yeah.
We have those moments where, you know, our emotions get the best of us, i.e. me early on in this episode. We're just like you guys. And we just did this because we love talking about football and we love interacting with you guys and we love the community that we built. It just sucks that this season has to end on such a sour note. And I wish that I could say that at least this team was just outclassed every single loss. And unfortunately, I have to point the blame back at the team. I don't want to be negative, but I have to be objective because I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror if I wasn't, you know, giving it to you at least as real as I think it is. You know, again, what's real to me isn't real to everybody else. What's real to Andrew isn't real to everybody else. But we just appreciate you guys for hanging out with us, man. It's been a fun run these last few years. We haven't had a season like this since 2020, which ironically was the first year that we started this podcast. But thank you guys, like a lot. Thank you guys for the donations. Thank you guys for the views. Thank you guys for anybody who's ever watched this or listened to us and put someone else onto it. Thank you guys for any messages that you send. Like, I love your show. Like, I love what you guys do. That it means a lot, man. It just sucks that this year is going to end so early when we had no plans of calling it on December 13th.
Really quick, George Kittle on the Campbell situation. It's very dumb, very stupid, very immature. I don't see how you can do that to your teammates. I just want to throw that in really quick. The Kittle said something now.
Fire. Set his ass out.
Cut. I like your moxie, but cut. No, but everything Jason said. Again, this is year 5 of this podcast. Unfortunately, it was a lot like year 1 of this podcast. Not very fun, not very good, but talking football with Jason Aponte every week is the best part about doing this. And we can't do it without you guys. Just because the Niners season is over does not mean this podcast is over. We will be here. We will have a Niners Dolphins preview for you in about a week here. We'll have the instant react. I got to get in on these instant reaction shows more often, Jason. Maybe that'll be my New Year's resolution is jump in on these with you as they come out. But yeah, this sucks. It sucks that it had to end like this. But the love for the Niners is not going to go away. We're still going to be here every week. We're still going to be talking 49ers football. It never stops. They are, as wise Jason Aponte says, the San Francisco 49ers are the best content creators there are. They're going to continue to give us content. Just wait until they trade the 16th pick to move into the top 5, and we get to have that whole conversation. It's going to be. To me, I understand. I understand why people are very nervous about this offseason, but for me, this offseason feels different than previous ones. I don't know why. I'm honestly excited to see where this offseason takes the 49ers because there's going to be a lot of moving pieces where it felt like a lot of doom and gloom off seasons in previous years. I'm not saying this is not off of a doom and gloom season. I'm really excited for this offseason. I think the Niners have a chance to get really, really creative with some things.
Right. And I think, again, I'm kind of looking forward to it because we've stripped away the Super Bowl shit now.
Yeah.
You know, like now this isn't like, oh, Last Dance. You know, Last Dance was this year. Mm-hmm. Now it's turning the corner and finding out how this team is going to go into the next portion of the Shanahan era and what that looks like. And I agree that it does look like it can be creative. It can be draft picks. It can be free agency. The names on the back of the jerseys are going to change, and it's going to be some very, very, very beloved players, unfortunately, just the nature of the business. And I think the 49ers have been bracing for that based on the way that they drafted and based on, the way that they've structured their contracts. But I think that I'm excited for the offseason because now it's no more we're a Super Bowl contender. let's find the fuck out where we are going forward, and then we'll move from there. Almost a reset.
Yep. It's going to be a long offseason. It's going to be a fun one. Niners have a lot of decisions to make. One decision that's been made, the 49ers aren't going to go to the playoffs. 12-6 loss to the Los Angeles Rams. We are going to get out of here. We hope you guys have a good night. Enjoy your night. Enjoy this football weekend. Go say hi to your family. Tell your mom you love them, all that fun stuff. No Niners football. They can't hurt you this weekend. Enjoy it. Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners. Love you, JJ. Love you, Averly.
Let's go Niners. I'm sad, but Niners got a season to finish, and we got a podcast season to finish. So let's go Niners.
Welcome, everybody. Let's go Niners. My name is Jason Aponte.